Hello and welcome everybody. Paul Chiang here, joined by member of Team Mastrop West, Jon Stern, currently sitting at 9-1. And I heard your preparation for this tournament was slightly different. What did you do to prepare for this tournament?
Well, I decided, I've been working with teams for 5 years. I decided, it's modern, I know modern. Let's not spend all the time on logistics, and I'll just play games and I'll work by myself. And pretty good so far.
This is probably one of your best starts, right?
It's definitely my best start, but there's still rounds to play, so we'll see.
All right, off to a good start. So let's take a look at your draft here today.
Okay.
And looking at pack one here, we got a lot of different options. What were the cards you were kind of considering in this pack?
Well, the Direfleet Poisoner is, I think, clearly the best card. This was affected by the fact that the person on my right opened Profane Procession, the white-black enchantment, which is probably his first pick. So I really did not want to fight for black cards, even though I could be Pirates. Like, you can play that card in a Pirates deck and splash it. So I decided I'm going to be well positioned for a green-blue deck, hopefully, so I took the Pioneer. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. I think most people would have immediately looked at the Direfleet Poisoner because that's, probably the best card in the pack. But, with the flip cards, when you see your neighbor open one of the best rares in the set, he's likely going to take it, so you just wanted to kind of avoid black-white, right?
Well, also, the tribal decks, it's really important to be in a good seat for them. And the danger of that is, if you start taking Merfolk cards and the guy on your right is Merfolk or Vampires or whatever, then you can be in a really bad position. But knowing that the guy on my right probably wouldn't be it, and that I could cut it, was in a really good spot. So I was like, it's worth to take the Pioneer and try to cut Merfolk. And if it doesn't work out, I'll play a green deck or something.
And the Jungleborn Pioneer, totally fine card, even if you're not a Merfolk deck.
And I'm also not married to it. It's not like a slam first pick. So.
Right. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. All right, moving on to the next pick here. We have a lot of different options here. Let me see what I'm looking at. I see a Crashing Tide. Stormfleet Splinter is just a pretty good card. And then maybe a Deadeye Rig Hauler here. What were you thinking about here?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to take the 2/3 flyer because I thought he would try to go black-white. I didn't really want to take the blue-red card. I think that's the best card in the pack because I just took a green card, and I thought the blue cards were not that much worse. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure that Rigger Hauler is better than Crashing Tide, but I thought, go with the creature.
Yeah, given that you're blue-green, I think these were probably the two cards you were considering the most. All right, so Deadeye Rig Hauler, moving on to pick number 3 here. Not the most impressive-looking pack here, right?
No, and I was looking for... wondering if maybe I should consider getting out, but because of the strategy I took with him taking the Procession, cutting the Merfolk cards to make sure I get reward in pack 2 is really important. So I was like, I could take Tillinelli's Crown or something, or the Pirate, the Black Pirate, but I was like, I'll just take the Merfolk. It's okay, I'll play it if I'm Merfolk.
So a lot of teams have also been pretty high on the Ascend mechanic. Did you at all consider something like a Secrets of the Golden City and maybe be like a blue deck that's looking to ascend?
I was certainly considering playing a blue deck because I took the Rig Hauler. I find I've never had trouble getting secrets. I'm not so high on that specific card.
Okay. So it makes sense. So then you just took the Merfolk just to try to cut it all
I think
off.
the 3/3 Pirate is a better card.
Yeah,
I would have taken that otherwise.
All right, so first 3 picks, not the most powerful cards, but they all made it into your deck, right? So not a horrible start, although I'm assuming you want to be a little bit happier. Moving on to the next 3 picks, we have Sailor of Means, Jungleborn Pioneer, and River Darter, but only one of those cards made it into your deck.
Yeah, so because I was trying really hard to cut the Merfolk cards, I was taking, all of these are sort of support cards for Merfolk. They're not the cards you really want. The Sailor of Beans was like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to have to splash because things aren't working out, or maybe I'm going to have to audible. So that's what I was doing. I was still cutting, trying to get that deck, but willing to branch out with Sailor of Means.
So even going as far as to just take River Darter 6
Well, River Darter's a Merfolk. If you need a 3-drop, you can play it.
No, it makes sense. All right, moving on to picks 7 through 9. Again, only one card added to your deck. Yeah. We have Hunt a Week, another Sailor of Means, which gives you some extra options, and a Plummet.
I do really like Sailor of Means in general in the format, so...
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, you must not. You're probably not all that excited, right?
I was really scared. I was like,
yeah. You only have 5 cards that made your deck out of those 9 cards. All right, rounding out this pack, we have
basically
0 additions to your deck.
Nothing. I mean, I guess the Aquatic Incursion is a card I could play.
Right. Is that the type of card that you like playing in your Merfolk deck?
No.
No. All right.
That's why I didn't play it.
Oh, sure, fair enough. And Knight of the Steppe and Swap. All right. So moving on to pack number 2.
Yeah.
Opening Golden Guardian, which is considered to be a bomb.
I got it pick 7 in the first draft and pick 5 in pack 2.
Oh, wow.
Pick 7 in pack 1, but I think it's a really good card. I don't love it in Merfolk, but at this point, my deck looks really bad, so I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to play the Sailor of Means backup plan, this is a win condition that, you know, it will take over a long game, and I have Sailor Means to draw it out.
Yeah.
So I took it here.
It'll really allow you to just kind of like steal games too, right? Like if you don't have that cohesive Merfolk strategy, you're just like, you know what, I'm going to play Golden Guardian, maybe do a trade, and then just you know, try to flip it and start making a bunch of golems. All right, moving on here. All right, it looks like we're actually, you know, rounding out our curve now, right? We got an extra Mist-Cloaked Herald and 2 copies of Gitrog Stalker. I imagine you were pretty happy with these picks.
Well, I'm happy with the 2-1.
Okay.
I wasn't, okay, so the first Mist-Cloaked Herald, I actually took over Bombard, which I could have splashed off the Sailor Beans.
Right.
And that was really, like,
so that was a hard pick.
I was like, am I going to go for this Merfolk strategy, or am I going to try to salvage like a 1-2 record with the Sailor Beans deck? And yeah, I didn't love the second Herald because I don't have any of the good Merfolk cards, so. Yeah. But yeah, I was really happy to get the 2-1.
And you didn't even get anything like a you know, the dream is like a Curious Obsession or something like that to go with, of course, your Mist-Cloaked Herald.
I have the Rig Hauler. They work with the Rig Haulers.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Really, really good with the raid mechanic. All right, moving on here. A 3rd copy of Gitrog Stalker, a Secrets of the Golden City, and an Aggressive Urge. So how are you feeling about your deck after all these cards?
Well, after getting like the 3 2-1s and the Mist-Cloaked Heralds, I was like, okay, I'm going to play more Merfolk, and I'm going to have a salvageable deck.
Right.
And hopefully I'm going to keep getting rewarded for the way I cut it hard in pack 1.
But you're not really seeing like the huge payoff cards yet, right? This is just like all just kind of commons and curving out.
Yeah, that's right.
Hoping to set up for
I did not pass any blue and green.
So. Right, and you're actually just getting the nice curve. All right, moving on here, we have Cacophodon didn't make your deck. Aquatic Incursion. We have Jade Bearer.
I was really happy to wheel that so late. I did not expect to get that, and that card's great in my deck.
Yeah, turn 1
That's the point where I felt, okay, my deck might be good. It's getting that Jade Bearer.
All right, just being able to go Mist-Cloaked Herald into the Jade Bearer.
Yeah.
Moving on to pack number 3. I mean, this is an amazing start for pack 3, right? This is where you started getting all the payoffs.
Yeah, I took the Herald's Boon over the Vanquisher's Banner. Which are both great with, like, you pump your whole team with the banner, but like I want a low curve and I want to be ending the game around turn 5.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing a deck with triple Mist-Cloaked Herald, I think this is basically Mythic Common, right?
Yeah, it's the card I want to open the most,
And then Shapers of Nature pick 2, you have to be super thrilled about that. And of course, Stormfleet Aerialist, amazing with all your 1-drops in your deck. So this is a fantastic start. Moving on to picks 4 through 6 here, we have a 2nd copy of River Herald's Boon, which is just amazing. A Ravenous Daggertooth for Curve Filler, and Deeproot Warrior. So when you got this 2nd copy of the River Herald's Boon, that's at this point you're just
all right, well, I'm going to win some games on turn 2, and let's play it out.
Yeah, you're like, all right, maybe I salvage this 1-2 deck, but maybe I'm a 2-1 deck
I thought
now.
my deck at this point was quite good.
Yeah.
Early on, I was very scared because the first pack went so badly, but...
Okay. All right, moving on, we have Merfolk Branchwalker, 7th pick. That is
I took the Branchwalker over a Kumena Speaker, and I wasn't even 100% sure.
Yeah, and then you got a Kumena Speaker anyways. To go along with a Storm Sculptor, which I actually saw you do something pretty nasty.
That's my 9th pick. I wheeled that for my opening pack.
So I got
Speaker and Herald's Boon over out of the same pack.
Well, I mean, that's the rewards for being the only Merfolk drafter probably at the table. So this is pretty great. And I even saw you bounce a Luminous Bonds with this in the last round.
Yeah, he had that on the 3-4 Reach guy that I boarded in.
Right. One of the disadvantages of...
also, in the first match, I bounced my Pioneer about 5 times. Because he kept casting Rig Hauler, bouncing my Storm Sculptor, so he went and I had so many hexproof guys.
Nice, yeah. This deck is looking, really strong enough. So finishing out the draft here, we have, looks like a bunch of sideboard cards. We have a Grazing Whiptail and then a bunch of other cards. But
I mean, Cancel's a card I could board in, but
yeah, especially for that Profane Procession, right?
I hope to basically win the game by the time the procession gets active.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right, well, taking a look at your deck here, we have just a really great mana curve. I think you're just looking to end the game as quickly as possible here, right? We have 5 1-drops, a bunch of 2-drops.
6 2s, I think, plus some tricks.
Yeah, and the double River Herald's Boon. I mean, this just actually looks like a very, very strong Merfolk deck.
Yeah, my last playable was the Daggertooth and my 17th land, which I don't feel I really need in this deck, but the other options. So the next card to add would be the Golem, the 4/4. But I was like, that doesn't really work in this deck. I want to win the game much faster.
Yeah, and this is just proof that, like, sometimes you only had 5 playables after pack 1, but just
they were the low range, right?
They were the low range, but the fact that you were able to actually you completely cut off blue green and get totally rewarded in that last pack. Yeah. I mean, just really salvaged the draft.
Well, the flexibility of knowing my opponent, the guy on my right would almost certainly not be fighting with me.
Right.
Allows me to make that cut and go harder into the archetype.
All right. Well, I mean, this deck looks great. I think you're currently 2-0 with the deck.
I am.
We have 1 round to go. Yep. Jon Stern currently sitting at 9-1. This was Jon Stern's draft, currently sitting at 9-1 here at Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan.